Rhythm, can we start?
Yes, please.
Great. Thank you. Uh, Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone, depending from which part of the world you've joined, because I do see some folks from Singapore and Malaysia who've joined, right? I'm fairly confident people from all over the globe who are members of AIMA YLC have joined too. So hence, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night if you've joined from Australia. Welcome to another masterclass conducted by YLC. This time, this is an initiative of YLC Mumbai chapter. I am Narayan Jaising. I lead the YLC Mumbai chapter, also a member of the executive board for ILC WIMA. With us today, we have a very interesting topic, which is flavor of the country. Everyone has been talking about it from the last 2 years. And to some extent, that even I have encountered personally when I've taken my Uber rides or when I've spoken to my nearby Kirana store, they have started to talk the language of angel investing. That, oh, okay, my GMV of the store is so much, my stakeholder pattern is so much, I'm looking to dilute so much equity. So Shark Tank, for everyone's doubt, Shark Tank is what has brought a new wave of awareness about angel investing, awareness about startups. India has got one of the largest startups in the world right now, right? And everybody's looking to invest in India, be it individuals, HNI, or even the youth is looking to how do I float my company? I've got an interesting idea. They are in college, they are in grads, they're just graduating and moving to postgrad. That hey, I have this idea. I don't want to complete my graduation. Let's start a firm, and everyone looks for investing, right? And everyone looks for money, everyone looks for funds. So we thought, why not learn from the industry experts that what is angel investing and how can a layman get access to startups, a layman be aware how to invest, what are the terms and conditions, what is the process, right? It's a new domain for a lot of people, including me when I started off. And that's when networks, angel networks like Fard Network, came to my rescue, where they said, "Hey, you know what? Let's make life simple for you. We work with startups. We do their due diligence. We curate them. We bring it to you. We serve it to you on a table, right, with all the ready material for you to cherry pick. That what domain are you interested? What idea are you excited about? How can you be a part of their journey, right? And definitely, it opens up another investment class. Having said this, without wasting much time, I will introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Karan, Mr. Karan Verma. He is founder and director at Fard Network. Right, there's a lot about Karan to his achievements since I know him personally, but to mention the key ones, he's an engineer by graduation, but always been an entrepreneur at heart. Right, as they say that you don't find, some people find a role, and there's an aspect in life where a role finds you. So I believe entrepreneurship found Karan. Karan didn't find entrepreneurship, right? Right. And he's doing a great job of bridging the gap between startups who want access to capital and investors who want to invest in curated startups. So he's that perfect bridge, bringing both the worlds together, right? Apart from that, he started off as in the sales domain, worked in B2B, B2C, right? And then finally got the entrepreneurship bug found him, and he took it, and he's an entrepreneur now. He's also a multiple award winner, but the one which is quite prominent is the REX Karmavir Chakra Awardee for his work in angel investments and promoting entrepreneurship amongst youth categorically, right? About Fard Network, it's a SEBI-registered Category 1 angel fund with a corpus of 300 crores. Correct me if I'm wrong, Karan, at some point of time, if my numbers are wrong, but last I know it's 300 crores. And the ticket size varies from 50 lakhs to 5 crores. And today, Fard Network has a rich portfolio of about 90 plus companies that they have funded today and is part of their portfolio. Pretty rich and diverse from that perspective. So without much of taking away the crucial time, Karan, over to you. You can introduce yourself. Well, I've taken care of that, but if you want to say something if I've missed out, and then we can start with the masterclass.
No, I guess thank you so much, Narayan, for this enthusiastic introduction of mine. So yeah, this definitely motivates me, and good to see house full of people from across the globe. So yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of them. So yeah, I guess Narayan, you've done the justice. I guess you've introduced me wonderfully well. And now I have to provide justice after answering all the relevant questions. So yeah, we can quickly begin with the interaction. I'm very excited.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thanks, Karan. So let's start demystifying this. What is angel investing, right? There are a lot of people. They're like, the ticker is constantly moving, but the last count that I see is about 119.
Yeah,
119 folks are here. They want to know what is angel investing and where can they start from, as simple as that. Let's start from there.
awesome, awesome, great. I was expecting that. So see, angel investor is an individual who provides capital to any business, be it a startup or any store, maybe any company, and then in exchange of convertible debt or ownership equity. That's the definition of that's the definition of an angel investor. But what I say is, quite literally, angel is an angel who actually believes in you when nobody trusts you or believes in your idea. That is a person who takes that risk in that particular idea or an entrepreneur and back them. So that's a typical definition of an angel investor, as the name suggests. And obviously, like Narayan, you mentioned, how can we begin? So yeah, that's critical. That's quite critical because angel investment is an art, right? And obviously, it's a mindset. Because
Absolutely.
because obviously investing has been happening since ages, right? But this term startups and angel investments have coined few years back only, to be very honest. And I guess, like I mentioned, you have to take that some portion of money, hard-earned money of yours, out and burn it into fire. And then when I say burn it into fire, that you can't expect the returns to come when you're backing these early stage, these ideas, these unique companies, because it's pure risk. Because angel investing is, when we say investing in startup, is high risk, high reward, right? And as an individual, you have to create that mindset in yourself where you will risk that money. Maybe that money can be X for anybody, depending upon their appetite and the investment portfolio. And what we advise to individuals, you can start by investing anywhere 3 to 5% of your investment portfolio in startups, because if that loses, obviously you don't lose control on your value and the net worth, right? You're okay to lose that money, and you want to invest in great entrepreneurs, great ideas, and you want to back out of passion. Because if you want to make money out of angel investments, please don't do it. But if you want to do something justice to yourself or maybe justice to your learning, then definitely back a founder, back an entrepreneur, and start angel investing. So that's my
Interesting. Interesting. And also, Karan, while angel investing is a more formal economy name, this concept of backing a founder at the early stage, this concept of backing somebody at pre-seed or a pre-revenue always existed. We used to take money from our friends and family. We used to take money
absolutely.
from our fathers, some well-wishers, right? And we used to start a company. And now this is a formal economy because of scale, right? Because how many people are affluent enough to take money from their well-wishers? So when you scale this initiative, that's where the angel networks comes in, where I don't need to know you. You don't need to be my blood relation, right, to help me get my seed money. Having
Absolutely.
said that, now we are moving in the formal economy. Let's start with the basic. Say 130 people on the call, they want to invest in some company and they say, like, just like Shark Tank, right? There's a bunch of sharks on the other side. There are companies coming and pitching. How do you go about identifying startups, whom to invest, whom to back? Because there are a lot of people, or rather everybody who's an angel investor will be somewhat relying on you to get some quality curated startups, right? So let me ask you, how do you go about hunting these startups down and bringing them in your network? Let's start from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, I'll talk about, as an angel investor, if you wishes to start your journey as an angel investor, first you have to build a reputation for yourself, right? That you have to go out in the market, go out in the public, maybe LinkedIn profiles, and obviously in introduction you should mention that you are willing to invest in startups. You have to build your own reputation before you start getting any deals. Whether you are a part of a network or not, that's secondary for the time being. But as an individual, you have to practice that first, right? Because once the entrepreneur or the founder, they know that, okay, you as an individual can add value to you, then only obviously that person will be able to get you as an investor on board. Because right now the market, as you know, everybody has money right now, right? So we have a lot of people in this country. If we don't have to go to the country right now, if there are many people who are rich with money, right? But the founders and the entrepreneurs are not only looking at funds, they're looking at more value. So obviously, as an individual, you have to showcase. It's like a sales pitch, right? Like obviously you take an interview, or you give an interview, or you sell something. So angel investing is also selling yourself, that why you should choose me as an investor on a cap table, because I can add value to your cap table. I can add value to your company. So yes, so that's the first fundamental rule. When you talk about any network like us, so trust me, obviously, early days for us, obviously, it was very difficult for us as well to build that reputation, because we were also new 6, 7 years back. Nobody knew us. And randomly we came out of the market that, okay, we are an angel investor, we are an angel network. So please showcase your deals. So right now, till date, we get around 500 deals every month from across the country via some sources, because the network is huge right now. And the best part is we have a team of analysts who basically builds thesis amongst various sectors, and what's trending, what's not, how big is an opportunity for specific categories, and then we choose the best bunch out of the lot, and then we showcase these opportunities to an individuals like yourselves who are part of the network and the ecosystem to decide whether this fits your thesis or criteria or not. And specifically for an individual, I know obviously this can be overwhelming for you right now, but yes, as an individual, you also have to pick and choose where you wish to invest and where you want to invest, because every startup might look fancy and great to you, because every startup has a potential to make money for yourself. But that's not the truth. You should invest in those companies which you understand the subject better, right? And how you will, and obviously how you will guess that. So look at, so maybe take take a piece of pen and paper and write your education qualification, your professional qualification, your passion, your hobbies, your goals, your interest. I'm sure you will have bunch of categories where you wish to invest, or maybe you wish to understand better, right? And then you can decide. For example, Narayan, so what's your hobby, if I may ask, or maybe what's your passion right now?
Travel. Love to travel a lot.
Travel. So yeah, if any travel tech companies come to you, you would understand that subject
Exactly.
much better than like a Bitcoin or a blockchain, because that
Exactly.
might be alien to you. So definitely you would want to learn and know more about that particular startup and the founder, and then eventually say, okay, I understand the subject and I see a potential, I may add value a little, right? Similarly, for example, like, obviously I know that, but for the group, what is the professional, so what's the professional qualification and the educational qualification you have?
So I'm the typical standard engineer plus MBA combination, and I have worked for about 17, 18 years now in marquee brands, and now I'm with a digital marketing firm. So broadly, that's my,
So, for example, so any company which is a marketing tech company or maybe a technology company would make you understand. Maybe a deep tech company would make you understand better rather than
exactly.
choosing any random category. So obviously, for yourself, you have to decide as an individual. But for a fund or maybe a network like us, we have to think like all the LPs who are part of the fund, right? Because every individual has a different mindset and they have built a different thesis for themselves. We have to pick and choose the best out of the lot and showcase to all the individuals, and then they decide, okay, this subject I understand, and then they start investing in them. So yeah.
That makes sense. In fact, I really like the way you've broken it down, and I would personally double down on the aspect of interest. Like, and as you rightly mentioned, and you picked the right one, that what's your interest? Today, I have invested in about 6 startups. The common element or the common denominator in all the 6 startups is that in each of the domains, I am personally interested, right? I have some knowledge about it. And I know that, okay, as a consumer, I'm a user of their products in some way or the other, right? So I understand that, okay, this is a better product or this is a potential product enhancement in this domain, right? I can understand the nuances when we have quarterly founder calls where he presents his progress. I'm able to relate to what he's saying. I'm able to relate to, oh, okay, the challenges he's facing. Oh, okay, there is some regulation aspect that he's talking about, right? It's not alien to me. Alien domains to me would be something in the healthcare, right?
Okay.
Somebody talks that, oh, I'm a pharma company and I've got this new drug. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what does it do. I have no meaning, right? Or Bitcoin or blockchain, right? So I completely understand. So that's a very good cue, Karan, that people should identify their interest areas or their qualification areas or their work areas where they want to see that, okay, this domain is connected to my industry or at a one degree of separation, and how they can better understand the nuances of that startup. So
No,
excellent.
see, I guess, Narayan, I guess this also works when we invest in the stock market, right? So obviously, so if I am banking with HDFC, so I intend to take a share of HDFC, right? And obviously, if I have Havells fan, I will invest in Havells. That's how it works, right? Because obviously we see all the brands around, and then we eventually love those brands and we get invested in them. Similarly, it works for startups. In stock market, we have a history, right? We have a long history of these companies. But in startups, when we start falling in love with these companies and their products, and eventually the founder, then we actually invest in them.
No, no,
That's how the
absolutely.
mind works.
No, absolutely. Very good analogy. I must say that. And it's spot on, actually. That's how even equity investment works, right? You mentioned about a word history. Equities have got history. Now, coming to startups, where it's a new concept, maybe it's a concept on PowerPoint stage, right? The gentleman is yet to take it live, is yet to test the market, is yet to do a product market fit. At that point of time, what lens do you apply, or what calculations goes behind the curtain to tell you, okay, I have got inquiries from 10 startups. Let's pick three, let's pick four, let's pick two. How do you go about filtering so that you're able to present it to a group of investors that, hey, you know what? I got 10 leads, but maybe out of 10 leads, four are worth investing. So, what are those guidelines or the guardrails that you incorporate to narrow down from 10 to 4?
Right. So obviously, as an individual and a network, obviously we follow multiple steps, but to make it simpler for the audience, so we look at 5 T's, right? As an investor or as an angel fund. So the first T and the most important T is the team part of it. Because if we don't like the team and if we don't believe in the team, everything goes for a toss. So I guess the first and the most weightage we have is for the team, right? So the founder has to have a background of what he or she is building. They need to have a right passion, right mindset, right background, and obviously a track record. Quite possible that some founders obviously can come out of the college, but obviously they need to have a right, I would say, background of that particular industry. They should have a great market research and a business plan prepared, right? So team comes first, and that carries a lot of weightage for us. And the second is technology. At the end of the day, in a definition of a startup, technology is the most important part. So if you are maybe if you are a F&B company or maybe any retail company, there has to be a tech involved if you are a startup. Otherwise, scalability is impossible. The growth is impossible. So technology angle is very important. What is the moat, right? Why we are investing in you? Why we are investing in the company? Do you hold IP, intellectual property? Uh, which will differentiate you with the competition? Are you creating a category, right? So technology as an aspect is secondly very important for us. The third T is uh, it's traction, right? So obviously like I saw questions coming in that, so can we invest in pre-revenue companies? So yes, we can do that, but yes, traction to us is also important. So have you reached uh, up have you reached a POC stage, or have you built an MVP or not? Or at what stage you are you already selling to few customers? That also matters to us. The proof of concept is already in the market right now, then it makes sense to invest. That's the third T. The fourth T is terms. So at the end of the day, it's a transactional thing, right? So we're giving money in exchange of something. So that something is equity, right? So we have to invest at a right valuation, right? So obviously when we are investing very early in the game, so obviously we buy at a cheaper valuation. So we need to understand how big this can become eventually. So are we investing at a very, very early stage, or we're investing a little later stage, maybe along with some venture capital funds? So we need to understand what terms we are getting as investors. Are we getting equal rights? Are we getting exit rights? Are we getting liquidation preferences? Are we getting the information rights or not, basic information rights or not. So terms is also very critical for us. Without these, it's a deal breaker for all of us as an individual and as an angel fund. And the fifth and the most important T is 10x returns. I understand when we invest in startups, definitely everybody wants to make 100x or 50x or 60x. We see a lot of news. But practically speaking, obviously, we have to balance our portfolio. If you're getting 10x from an opportunity we invest in, I guess it's a good idea to invest in them and yeah, move forward. So if all check boxes of these 5 T's clicks, then yes, it's a deal.
Brilliant. All I can say is brilliant. A detailed, a way of doing a due diligence and very beautifully summarized, Karan. I like the fifth one, the 10x part from an investor's
Everybody
time.
loves it. I'm sure everybody would love that.
Where I know that, okay, technically, in the top four, FAR network is more equipped to do a better job. Fifth is where I come in as an investor that, okay, four, FAR is taken care of. Fifth one, let me contribute and look at the 10x. No, but that's a fair point. That's a fair point, Karan. But in your experience and in your knowledge and among your 90 plus brilliant startups that you've got, can you share one or two examples where you believe that how the startup came to you, how you went to consumers like me or investors like me, raise the capital, and today where are they doing? As in the journey from say 0 to 1 or maybe 1 to 10, something for our investors to correlate and understand that, oh, okay, this is the journey that they also can see potentially.
No, definitely. I would want to share two stories
Sure,
without naming, to be very honest,
sure, sure, sure,
because that's little confidential information for now.
sure,
But yeah,
sure.
I will share both success and a failure story. Because again, sharing failure stories is more important than success. Because the industry is flooded with success stories, right? So which will motivate all of us to invest. But yes, we need to look at the flip side as well, right? So both companies are from the EV domain, right? Obviously that's what we love investing in personally and as a network. So one company, I remember it was a COVID time, in August 2020. We got this opportunity. So again, IIT Kanpur guys, young lads, just starting up. So one investor who was part of the network, he referred to us. Okay, this is a good deal. You should consider this. And obviously, we saw that there's one venture capital fund who was already a part of that pre-seed round. Literally, they were doing literally zero revenue, almost I guess 50,000 rupees of monthly revenue at that time. And yes, we entered at around $2.2 million of valuation, which is approximately 14, 15 crores of, sorry, it's around 17, 18 crores of valuation. We entered, we invested a small check as a consortium. We got 9 investors who invested and believed in them. And I remember that there were around 50, 60 people on the call, out of which 9 people showed interest. Okay, we would want to invest on the tune of 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. This was the tune, and we invested around 100K USD in that particular company. And trust me, obviously, I'll share what happened in the middle. But right now, the company is valued at $250 million.
Wow.
Uh, uh, and I guess in less than 4 years, we are sitting at 61x of multiple. And yes, today we are exiting. So out of 9 people, I would say 2 people exited after 6 months when they got 1.5x. They were first time investors. They got happy. Okay, 6 months, 1.5x. Wow, it's a deal. Let's take an exit. Then 3 people came in after 3 more months, which is 9 months. We got 3x returns. They took a partial exit. Then few investors took a full exit in 21 months, 21x. Right?
Wow.
Where obviously we got a secondary offer from an existing investor. They wanted to buy more. And then there came a private equity player. We recently, 6 months back only, one of our investor got 48.6x returns. He took an exit. And now there were 2 people left. One was us and one more investor. So we are now taking exit at 61x. So literally in the next 20 days, the money will hit the account, and obviously we'll definitely share the news with the group. We'll obviously do a PR as well, that obviously we got 61x in less than 4 years of time in that particular company, where literally nobody believed in them because they were young lads from IIT Kanpur, 2 3 years of experience in the sector, and they started, and they're doing marvelously well, and they've got a couple of private equity people who are now getting into them, and they definitely plan to go to IPO. But yes, now is a good time that we thought we should definitely make an exit. We could have stayed. They were not forcing us. But we thought, okay, there's a life cycle, and we should, after 4 years, we should definitely take our money back and then invest in more companies, right? That was the idea. And one of the investor who was getting an exit, he invested 5 lakh rupees. He's getting 3.05 crores money in less than 4 years.
Wow.
So that's a hit story, right? That we would love to share with everybody. But yes, there's a flip side to it. There's a flip side to it as well. So there was another EV company. We backed them 2 years back. Again, two ex-founders. They've built one company before, uh, coming from Delhi College of Engineering, best of buddies. Again, in the EV sector, uh, I guess they raised around $2 million at a valuation of $5 million. It was a great deal. Many marquee investors came in. We also came in with a small check of around 60K, because again, the room was very less for us. Uh, but somehow, after 1 year for journey, the co-founder clash happened. They were pre-revenue. They're building the OEM in the EV sector. They got, I guess, uh, 30 million dollars of LOIs they've received. So the order book was amazing, but unfortunately the founder clashed. Their 10 years of friendship went in vain. So obviously, I came into the picture personally, became the board of director, trying to sort things out, but eventually it failed. And we just recently got, I guess 1 month back, we got 38% of the capital back in the company. So it unfortunately failed, where we believed that, okay, this will definitely go well because the founders are amazing. They got very good order books. The tech is strong. The IP is strong. They've got patents. And I guess, unfortunately, nobody wanted value for their patent as well because the situation of the company was worse. So yes, that is angel investments. It's that risky. And obviously we have potential to make this amount of money as well. So yeah.
No, interesting. Two ends of the spectrum, Karan. One, 60 plus X, one, perfect product market fit, but rift between the founders. So there was no fault of the product. Market was ready potentially. Market could have absorbed the product as well, but the founders had a rift, and it all went downhill. So
Yes.
from 38% of your capital, as in the other way to look at it is 62% loss, right? So from that way, from a 62% loss to a 62x, right? That's
Right.
the spectrum. And as I rightly say, that angel investing is one asset class where they say when sky is not the limit, it can be the universe. You can go beyond the sky. As in, it's the
Agree.
whole Milky Way. Like, there's a famous saying that if you had invested in Narayan Murthy's Infosys when he started, today you would be sitting on triple digit crores, right? That's angel investing. The only difference is you're buying it from the primary market. Here you're doing an angel investing, right?
Yeah.
No, makes sense. And I completely relate to the point that you mentioned that it's a high risk game. You can get it right, you can get it wrong, depending upon, how you've played it, where you applied, and which startup. And there have been cases where startups have done really well after going live, but for some reason, then they have not done well as well. So completely understand that. Great. Now, how frequently do you meet investors or startups, and how frequent? Like I remember I met you in Bombay,
Yep.
right? Where on just for the for everyone's interest, it was a Sunday, and one of my common mutual friends between me and Karan said that, hey, you know what? Some bunch of interesting startups are coming on Sunday. Do you want to have breakfast and catch up, and let's hear Karan out? And that's where I met Karan, presented 5 startups, just like a Chris format, 10 minutes per founder. And in like 45 minutes, we were done with those 5 startups, right? And then and there you had to show your interest that, okay, I'm interested in a particular category or a particular startup. And then you pick it up from there. So how frequently do you have this? And like people on the call, 147 people, say after this call, they want to get in touch with you or get in touch with Fard Network, that, okay, what are the startups, where can they invest, because people are joining from all over the world, people from all over the country are joining. It may not be possible for you to do roadshows in every city,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So how do they get in touch with say a Fard Network and understand that, okay, what is the list of startups which are available to them?
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, we do these events, these road shows virtually every weekend. So every weekend per se, so we prefer Saturdays to be that weekend, where obviously we do a call at 12 noon to 1 p.m., where investors across the globe can join and they can witness one good opportunity virtually. And then they decide we take care of the whole due diligence part, the paperwork part, because we are also investing in these companies. We also have a skin in the game. In all the 90 plus companies, we as personal capacity via FAD, we have invested, we are investing in them, we are bullish on them. That is why we are showcasing these to our LPs, limited partners, we say. And yes, we do these weekly, but yes, eventually we have also realized that obviously post-COVID world, everybody wants to meet physically as well, face to face as well. So for that reason, we travel to in cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Kolkata, various metro cities, and now we are also trying to have a representation in Pune, Nagpur, Aurangabad, in tier two cities where we can have these road shows, meet amazing folks like you, and obviously help you start your journey of angel investing by investing as low as maybe 2.5 lakhs in Indian currency in startups. So it's that simple. And yeah, we are very much active. We showcase around 50 to 60 opportunities every year. And yeah, you can end up investing in none or all of them. So yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So would it be right to say that the minimum ticket size or the starting ticket size is 2.5 lakh? Would that be right to say?
Yes, you're right. Absolutely right. But yeah, obviously, so as now we are a SEBI registered category one angel fund. So as per the SEBI guidelines, you have to commit a minimum capital of 25 lakhs over a period of 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
Yes. So you can say you can, as a minimum, you can end up investing in 10 startups of 2.5 lakhs each. Because
Or
what we
one
say is,
25.
yeah, so but what personally we advise that if you want to only spend 25 lakhs, let's say, to begin with, don't invest uh, in one company, right? So you have to build your portfolio. Like you invest in stock market, you build your portfolio. Similarly, invest maybe 2.5 or 5 lakhs in 10 to 5 in 5 to 10 startups, right? Where obviously you diversify your risk. Because again, at the end, we can't predict that which startup will do well, which startup will do wonders, which startup will fail. So personal advice, whenever a new investor come or maybe a naive investor come to us, we advise them start slow and start lean. Don't invest too much, because obviously, if that one particular startup fails, where you invest for 25 lakhs, it's a pure gamble for you, and you will never come back again and invest in startups. For you, that will be a dead space. So yeah.
Makes sense. No, makes sense. And I'm really liking this conversation, Karan, because you're drawing great analogy to stock market investing, right? Because it's parallel, it's very similar. Here you pick companies, here you're picking companies for direct investments. It's similar, right?
Exactly.
So, perfect, perfect, very helpful. Coming to the next question. India is booming with startups, right? As they say, the Amrit Kal is going to start now, right? Or the Amrit Kal has started, for the lack of any better word.
Post elections for sure.
Absolutely. We have elections already kicked in the country. Another 3 months, the results will be out, right? Maybe more startups will come after elections, right? Solving various issues. Do you see any particular trend which is favoring the country, or do you see multiple trends or any particular category you see that, oh, okay, as FAD network, you are super bullish on A, B, C categories? Are there some categories like this?
No, yes, definitely. Like you've mentioned, so last year, approximately 67,000 crores of money was invested in Indian companies. So that's a huge amount of money, right? And obviously, it's so trust me, most of the money has come from the VCs, right? But yes, angels and the angel syndicates and the angel networks have also contributed a decent sum, right? Obviously, you as an individuals have contributed a decent sum to the success. So yes, I guess India has 1 lakh plus startups now, right? And it's growing like anything because the government is promoting Startup India. And I guess after that, and obviously coming of Shark Tank and many other shows like that. So definitely it's booming, it's buzzing. So everybody now wants to start up something and everybody wants to aspire to become an angel investor. So yes, definitely as a network, as a fund, we have also built some great thesis in few sectors where we believe in right now that the trend is going ahead. One definitely, like I've mentioned, with one failure and one success story is EV, right? So EV as an industry, obviously it's a wide space open, right? So though obviously the global markets are going down in EV, but yes, India is a decade or maybe 10, 15 years away from that, right? So right now it's a great opportunity to invest in EV. And definitely we as a network have identified wide open spaces that where we'll be investing. Battery recycling, maybe battery financing, battery insurance. There are many wide open spaces that we have selected
Logistic.
for us. Logistics, obviously, we have recently invested in one logistics company.
Yeah, the reason I said is because I
Yeah,
attended that call. That's why I know logistics.
yeah. So that the sort of definitely EV is a very hot category. Second is uh, generative AI, right? So
Hmm.
another buzzword, right? So I guess everybody is able to raise capital when they say we are a Gen AI company. But yes, so obviously, though obviously it is coming up very quickly, and I guess AI will take over everything moving ahead. And I guess we have identified some great opportunities in the AI category as well. And looking at the companies, now we are looking at deep tech as a very broader category. In deep tech, you can look at various industries. In deep tech, it can be I would say climate tech. It can be med tech. It can be many companies in the deep tech where the real innovation is happening, where the companies are going back to the drawing board. They're starting up their manufacturing units, right? Where obviously we used to say initially that 5 years back that okay, be an asset light company, but now we're okay investing in asset heavy companies. But because now we see a value of an IP, right? IP has more value than any service or any product that you build. So definitely that technology innovation, we're backing them up. So sustainability, we're investing in one company which is doing amazingly well. So they are basically making I would say bioplastics from agro waste, from hemp, another interesting sector, right? So yes, these are the few categories that we are very much focused for the next 6 months. So definitely focus changes and shifts depending upon the trends and what is moving ahead for us. But yes, as a network, as a fund, we are a sector agnostic fund. We have invested in various categories, to fintech, to edtech, to health tech, to deep tech, to agri tech, to many sectors, which is wide open.
Brilliant. Now, the following question I have. It is often referred that India is a services country, not a product country, right? Do you see the trend changing with these startups coming up? Are they again service oriented or are they product oriented or it's a mixed bag?
So yes, you're absolutely right. But yeah, that trend is like I've mentioned, like I've given few examples, it is genuinely changing, right? So and it will rapidly change. So from 5 years from now, you will see the difference, right? So India is going back again and obviously investing. So we are investing in companies which are asset heavy businesses, which are manufacturing units, which are so again, uh, I would say it's the right time uh, to invest in these companies, and it's the right time to build something and innovate something. Because at the end of the day, all the services, all the companies, they're consolidating. The saturation is happening. Every industry needs a new problem to a solution, right? So obviously, I guess it's changing, and yeah, definitely India is uh, growing, and it's a long way to go.
No, no, I completely second that point because, as a consumer, what I see is that we are now producing more innovative products. We are coming up with new, even in fashion and apparel, right? If you see the most celebrated brand called Snitch, right?
Yep.
I was reading an article by the founder on LinkedIn where he had put that Snitch in India has given Zara and H&M a run for their money.
Yes.
Their yearly profits, their yearly top line is down by like 15% by just one D2C company. So one D2C company can shake up H&M and Zara in this country, you know?
All thanks to Shark Tank. So yeah, I guess they got a
Yeah, yeah.
good amount of visibility from there. So yeah, I guess yeah, it adds to it.
Plus their designs and products. Like I've
Yeah.
personally seen some of my colleagues wearing Snitch products and they really come out well, you know? So I was like, man, this is the trend, where a D2C company can shake up multinationals, right? And let's look at drones. We are manufacturing drones
Yep.
ourselves,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. From military drones to commercial drones to logistic drones, everything is being manufactured here,
No, I
right?
guess defense tech. So I actually forget mentioning that defense tech is another booming sector. Obviously, we have invested in only one company, but definitely we are keen to look at more companies because people are eyeing upon that.
You
The
know,
real innovation is there actually.
one startup I bumped across it. They are trying to make something where they want to give Google and Facebook a run for their ad dollars. So they say that, okay, most of the digital marketing is done primarily on two platforms like Google and Facebook. so out of the advertising market, which is a 1.5 lakh crore market, 1 lakh crore is going only to two companies, Google and Facebook. So they're like, 1 lakh crore is going out of this country, right? What can we do to stop that 1 lakh crore going out? That's why they are building platforms, they are building customized OTTs, they are building other platforms where you can do your targeting and save that 1.5 lakh crore. I'm like, that's a huge number. And a startup ready to take on a Google or a Facebook for ad dollars, I'm like, the day you decide to open up for angel networks, I'm there for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're bang on.
So these are the interesting spaces there, and I'm personally very bullish that manufacturing and services both are the domains that India is picking up, and
It has to go
manufacturing
hand in
is
hand. It has to go hand in
yes,
hand because India is a service-oriented country, right? We obviously, as an individual, as a customer, we are used to service, right? So we can't miss that. So again, if you are a manufacturing company, if you are a software company, you have to give service as well, right? So
no, makes
that's
sense.
what we expect, and I guess everybody is okay to spend an extra penny for that.
No, makes sense. So yeah, coming to let's shift gears now. Coming to the main part. What is the process of becoming an angel investor? Say, for example, somebody on this call, I got some questions here. I want to be an angel investor. How? As simple as that. Let's start from there. How?
Hmm.
How does it start? Any paperwork, documentation, any specific bank balance he has? You mentioned about Cat 1 commitment of 25 lakhs, but spread over 5 years, right? And the choice is there from 2.5 into 10 or whatever permutation combination they want to do. But from a paperwork standpoint, can any legalities around it? Happy to hear you. Happy to hear on that front.
Absolutely. Yeah, so like you mentioned, so practically, before an AIF structure, right? So forget, obviously we run an AIF, we are an angel network, forget that. So as an individual, right? So if you're investing, let's say 2.5 lakhs or 5 lakhs in any company, right? So you don't have to do anything, right? So you just have to have that 2.5 lakhs and a zeal to lose that money and invest in that particular company. And I guess no paperwork, it's just signing off an SHA, right? SHA and the document. But yes, when you do one, that's pretty easy process, right? When you start doing multiple, then obviously it becomes cumbersome for you because investing is very easy. Because you find a startup can come to you, maybe your friends want to start up, or maybe your family wants to start up something, you will just invest in them. That's all. It's not that complicated. But the real problem comes when you have a bunch of portfolio and you have to manage that. At the end of the day, you have invested your hard-earned money. What matters to is an exit, right? And then you have to get that money back in various multiples or XIRs, and you have to get that money back. For that, eventually, for few companies you can manage, but eventually when you have a portfolio, you need to hire a portfolio manager. That is why it is always advisable to invest in groups rather than as an individual. So forget that. Obviously, you have to be a part of any network. You can maybe if a bunch of friends form a group and act as one. Because at the end of the day, because when you're individual, you don't have better negotiating terms. When you come as a group, you can negotiate better. You can get a better valuation. You can obviously try to add value together because obviously there might be people who are from the manufacturing setup. There might be people who are from the France background. There might be people who are from different sectors. You all can add value as a group. I mean, obviously, every startup would need some help, right? And then the risk is also divided. So that is advice. And obviously, you have a power to obviously help founders get an exit, time exit, and then manage the portfolio. Similarly, you can go to networks like us. There are hundreds of networks. Not to be very honest, you can go to any good ones you feel like, and yes, follow their process and trust them. Because at the end of the day, we all make money when you guys make money,
For sure.
right? So I guess if you want to join an angel fund, then yes, there are some compliances and paperwork requirements. So obviously, like I mentioned, you have to commit to 25 lakhs over the period of 5 years, which is the mandate by SEBI. So you can't actually fight that. You have to sign a contract that okay, you commit to do that. If you fail to do that, then obviously the investment manager can take an action against you. They might hold your units, or maybe they might not. They might give penalty to you to obviously pay the remaining amount. So this is whole depending upon the investment manager. But yeah, as per SEBI, they can question us. Uh, so yes, 25 lakhs you have to keep open if you're investing in any companies. If you're not going through a network or a community, build your own group and invest in these companies. Then you don't have to commit 25 lakhs. You can invest as low as 10, 15 lakhs as well over the period of time. But yes, you have to have a good legal and a finance professional who can vet all the agreements, does all the due diligence, because that's the tricky part. What companies are pitching in that 10, 20, 15 minutes and what story they're sharing, that cannot be true sometimes as well when you look at the documentation and the numbers. So that is why you need professionals like all of us, where obviously we will vet all the documents and state that what you're claiming is the truth. And then we start investing a single penny onwards in these companies. And then eventually, as you know, like Nandaran, you mentioned that you are going on virtual calls, quarterly calls. So tracking is also the key. Because when you become passive, obviously the ball will be taken away from you. And I guess the founders won't listen to you then. They listen to the VCs and the private equity funds, because they will be in day-to-day operations, they will be involved. So as an investor, you have to show your involvement and be a part of the whole process, enjoy the whole process, and try and add value. If not, it's all right, but at least you have to be a part of the process. Then eventually, uh, someday, obviously, for sure, when the company goes well, you will get an opportunity to take an exit. So, for example, let's say you get an opportunity to take an exit, maybe 7x in Series A. So you can decide to top up more or maybe take an exit as per your appetite. Because I believe when you're investing in startups, block your money for the next 3 to 5 years. It is not coming back. If it
For
comes,
sure.
if it comes back, it's well and good. Or else, after 5 years, you can consider a decent exit of 10 plus X, or else the money is going for cost.
It makes sense. That's a very pragmatic way of looking at things as well. Rightly put, having being an investor myself, the similar mindset is what I carry. Right? Invest, stay committed, stay engaged. Out of the 6 startups that I've invested, in 2, I'm actually working closely with the founder, helping him in his business development initiatives,
Absolutely.
helping them with industry contacts, helping them with strategy documents. That hey, okay, wait, I think so. I can help you out here. Pass it on to me. I'll do it for you. Right? Hey, put your sales pipeline down. Tell me where you need help. I'll get the CX to connect for you. I'll open doors for you and give it to you. So
Absolutely.
and that's where you understand the company deeper and better, right? That, okay, what's going on? Not just reading some PowerPoint presentation that has come to you at the end of a quarter that, hey, ABC has happened, but why? I don't know how, right? So no, makes sense completely. I'll throw the floor open to 140 people on this call to put your queries in the chat window. I've received a couple of them. While I'll start asking Karan, but please start sharing your questions on the chat window. So,
Yeah, and I guess one thing I wanted to add in the last question,
sure,
I
sure.
guess, yeah. So talking about the taxes part, I guess most people might ask, when we exit, so obviously we have to pay a tax, and how much is that? So when you exit before 2 years, which is a short-term capital gain, so obviously you have to pay taxes as per your slab, right? And when there's a long-term tax, which is 2 years plus, then you have to bear which is 20% plus indexation. So this is what you have to bear when you're investing in startups.
Oh, makes sense. So that's a nice one. Yeah. But I think so. If genuinely investors are looking at a 5-year horizon, they'll fall in the 20 plus bracket.
Yeah, that's a
Right?
minimum requirement, because don't expect your money back before that. And obviously, if you are, like I mentioned, I'll reiterate the same thing. If you are here to make money, then angel investing is not for you.
No, makes sense. Probably I can share my mindset towards investing is long-term wealth creation, not short-term. I'm not looking at a 1 year, 2 year quick entry exit kind of a strategy. Looking at a 5 year, 10 year, but I know the multiple is in double digits, potentially, hopefully, someday 3 digits, 3x, 3 times X, as in 100x or something like that. Like one startup which I just missed, when I just joined Angel Network and I was relatively new and I was trying to just study. So Bharat Pay had come, right?
Okay.
And Ashneer was just
Exactly.
presenting, right? and I just attended the call. I heard him. I was not from the BFSI domain. I was from a telecom domain, and he mentioned about QR codes being in every retail outlet. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not sure. Okay, this is a different domain because interest. I didn't have interest in digital payments, right? So I'm like, yeah, okay. And in like a span of 22 months, Bharat Pay gave investors a 91x return, right?
Yeah, I know. It's almost doubled,
Mind-boggling,
like.
mind-boggling.
See, I
Yeah,
guess as an investor, you have to find a reason why you want to become an angel investor, right?
exactly.
Some people be a part of the community to network, right? So, because you will learn from the 2% of the community, right, which is these smart entrepreneurs that obviously, and there's this thing that you have to stay with the best five people, right? And obviously, you become the same, right? So at the end of the day, you have to be with smart people. So networking could be one thing that people want to start angel investing. Second is learning, right? So you learn a lot. So meeting hundreds of founders on regular basis, hundreds of angel investors, because they're also business owners or working in corporate at a senior position. So definitely we learn a lot from industry experts, domains. So I guess these are the two, three takeaways that we can have more than money, right? So that becomes primary, and obviously money becomes secondary, right? So yeah, I guess, and see, to become an angel investor, you also have to be a good follower as well, right? Because in the beginning, it's difficult to learn that, right? So you have to learn by actually doing it. So obviously my gyan and my 2 cents won't help you much, because at the end you have to start investing your money and then start getting to lose. Then you'll actually learn the art of angel investing. And yes, maybe make somebody an idol and follow them to begin with. Follow them with two, three deals or maybe transactions, and maybe in third or fourth transaction, you actually start using your brains and maybe become a pro eventually.
No,
Because we
brilliant.
have because personally I've seen people now their full-time job is angel investing.
I'm sure. No, but very pragmatic viewpoints, Karan. Really appreciate the last one that you mentioned about the approach, the mindset. It's so important to have the right mindset, right? Not looking at it as a quick buck or an easy buck, right? It's a smart investment. Like I always say that angel investment is like if you use your brains and you couple that with patience, you can really walk home with a big check, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So great. Let's start with some of the questions that have come across my
Yes, sir.
way. Uh, the first question is from Shripad. He's saying, tell us about the network which guides entrepreneurs, which guides startup entrepreneurs, and etc. etc. So, Shripad, quick answer. Far network, is it? You are looking for a network where you can start far. It is. That's why Karan is here. You know. So at the end, he'll share his coordinates or the email ID that you can write, or just simply go on the website and there's a contact us option. Reach out from there as well.
Right, right. It is right by even ID.
Right. So that's one. Second is from Sudipto. He's asking, what are some of the key points to look for in a pre-revenue company before investing?
Yep.
Right.
So yeah, I'll share a story obviously by giving experiences. So we remember investing in 3, 4 companies at a pre-revenue stage, right? And I guess what was common in all those startups were uh, all the founders, they had a great track record, right? So we have seen them building a startup and getting early exit, making exit for investors in themselves, and they are starting their second or third venture. And yeah, they came to us with an idea. Okay, we have an idea right now. We want to build this idea from scratch. We need a pre-seed money from you. So yes, what was common at the end of the day is team with a track record and the right mindset. Because at the end of the day, like you've mentioned, obviously it's easy to get money from friends, family. But yes, when you go to a network or somebody who doesn't know, they will look at the history. And obviously in startups, there's very less history. Like I've mentioned, a track record. Obviously, we believed in those founders because obviously they also came via references from other set of investors and friends that we had. And yes, they had a story and they had a past history of selling their companies off and making money for the investors. So we believed in them, invested a very small check because we don't want to take that big risk. Then in the second round, we doubled down because they proved the model. The POC was there. They had early traction, early customers, and they were able to attract them. And yeah, we invested more amount of money in them. So what advice I can say is, if you want to invest in pre-seed companies, invest a small check and then double down if they are performing well. Because
Good.
when you are investing at a very reasonable valuation, let's say 5, 6, 7, 8 crores of valuation, when they reach 100 crores, it becomes 10x for you.
Absolutely. No,
And
absolutely.
when you invest in a company which is valued at 100 crores, it has to go to 1,000 crores or maybe more, which is a difficult journey. Then your money will become 10x. So just choose wisely. And at the end of the day, as an investor, you have to balance your portfolio. So start investing in all parts of the journey, right? So invest in pre-revenue companies, invest in early stage companies, invest in growth stage companies, so that you're at the end of the day at a portfolio level, you can get a decent IRR or decent exit for yourself. Because some companies will do wonders, some might not. So the early companies might fail early as well. But the companies where you are investing in the growth stage can give you decent 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6x returns. But the early stage companies can give you 50x, 60x, 10x, 20x returns. So yeah, as an individual, balance your portfolio and choose sectors. There are some sectors which will give you safe bets, safe returns, but there are some sectors which are very risky. Like for example, Gen A. Somebody mentioned Gen A as a very risky sector. So when you invest early, there's a high chance that your money will go zero. But yeah, if it goes big, it will be literally 100x. But yeah, there's sectors like F&B, or maybe sectors like, for example, agri, which is comparatively
CPG,
not as a
consumer package goods. Yeah.
consumer packaging, yeah, exactly. So which is considered to as a safe sectors. You
Mhm.
might not get 50, 60x, but yes, you might get 5, 6x, 7x, 8x, which is decent for you. It will balance your portfolio.
Sure. There's a question from Sanjay Jain, but Mr. Jain, we've already answered that, so I'll skip it. Even from Saida, we've answered that, right? Coincidentally, Manish Gupta, Mr. Gupta, we've taken your question. For the lack of time, I'll just one last question. It's from Professor Gurbir. He's saying, can FART network help me in, if I have the risk appetite, invest? Yes, Dr. Gurbir, Professor Gurbir, yes. Karan has shared his email ID in the chat window. Please drop an email to him, right? Connect with him. He will guide you on the next steps, that how you can take it ahead, how he can connect with you and showcase the startups that he was referring, how you could join those calls on Saturday, right? Where you could understand what are those companies. So, that's the way it is. And that's one of the reasons we've kept this discussion open, where, we are even sharing the email ID of Karan as well, right? So that you guys can connect with him, right? And as a closing remark, anything else that you want to add, Karan, where you believe it's a very insightful information for investors, first-time investors, to keep in mind before even they decide to take the plunge? One takeaway from you.
Yep. So yeah, so angel investing is all about being optimistic, right? And obviously, though we understand that things might go wrong, and definitely there's a high chance that it may go wrong, but as an angel investor, you have to think how big it can become if everything goes right. So that's the power of angel investing, and that's the power of an angel investor. You have to be just optimistic.
Brilliant. Thank you, Karan. And on the closing remark, please, I completely second what Karan said. The two reasons that I'm investing in companies is exactly what Karan mentioned. Pretty optimistic that they will do well, pretty optimistic that they're disrupting the space. And see, I know if they do it right, it creates wealth for me, not just a multiplier, but it creates wealth, right? So multiplier is different from a wealth. Your money can become a 10x, can become like a 20%, 30%, 40% in mutual funds or an equity. But startups is the only space where potentially even 100x is possible, right? Even 200x is possible. Now it's up to you. So yes, from that mindset, I think so. It's a good asset class to diversify apart from your equity, mutual fund, FD, real estate. So it's a great asset class. I personally am more bullish on startups than real estate, right? Because again, real estate, I believe, has a ceiling. You won't go beyond a point. And how many houses can you have? One, two. So, so I rather have 20 startups where I can create wealth rather than two real estate
Agreed.
where I'll just get 1 or 2x multiplier out of that, you know. So thank you so much, Karan, for taking out time from your busy schedule.
Welcome, Narayan.
Loved hearing you. I hope the 154
Likewise.
folks who joined learned a lot. Be prepared to get some emails coming your way.
Yeah, I
About
would
the next.
ask. So yeah, first of all, obviously, I might have missed answering most of your questions because obviously time was a constraint. Please reach out to me over an email. I'll try my level best to answer all your questions in whatever way in whatever ways I can. And yeah, I guess if I'm not reachable, please get in touch with Rhythm and Narayan. They will help you reach out to me, and happy to take all the questions personally as much as I can.
Sure. Great. Thank you so much, Karan, for picking out time. Thank you for the 150 folks who joined. And thank you very much, Rhythm, for making all of this happen. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Loved it.